I actually started my first martial arts training when I was about 8 or 9 years old with my mom. She was taking some judo classes at the Y, and when she came home, she was showing them to me and, you know, my dad and stuff, and I just really took an interest in it. She showed me how to do a couple throws, but it wasn't nothing that was real serious. It was just having fun as a kid. My first real karate school that I went to was Ed Parker's Kempo. That was here in Phoenix. I was 11 years old, and I think at the time I got to an orange belt. I was almost ready to test for my purple. Back then, Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris were my big influences, so they made a real strong impact in my mental focus as far as the martial arts go. At about 17 was when I met my teacher, Ron Fugel. He's been my instructor ever since for the last 16 years now. He's opened my mind into Kyukoshin karate, which is my main style of martial arts, as well as several different types of kung fu. He's opened several doors to different masters, different teachers throughout the world. I've been very fortunate with some of the people I've been able to train with. I'm constantly trying to improve on my style, my training, my knowledge. I first started playing the drums when I was about 14 years old. Started up when I was just getting into high school. And I'm mainly self-taught. Took a couple lessons in the beginning, but basically just played along with the radio and different stuff like that. Playing the type of music I do, it kind of fits my personality. I mean, if you actually sat down and talked to all the band members, we're really kind of laid back, nice guys, but we got this real aggressive streak when we write music. Kind of that old adage, you can't judge a book by its cover, you know? The aggressive music really gets an emotion across. It helps me deal with some of the different things in my life. It's almost like catharsis for me. Music is one of the biggest parts of my life. It's my expression. I actually get to be creative and put the emotion that I feel every day behind something. Writing music and playing music, performing, just so intense and so great. I'm very fortunate to play with some excellent musicians. Got a great band right now that I'm very happy with. I really believe we can go far. When I'm stressed out, playing the drums just relieves it. It's not like I'm beating on something, you know, getting anger out through it. It's more like, what are you guys being mad about? You can play the drums. Everything's good, you know. It's just a lot of fun. It's very therapeutic. Get back there and release everything, and nothing else matters but being behind the kit, playing with the band. Actually, originally I started playing the drums because I thought it would be easier to play the drums than play guitar. I liked the guitar first, but after I started playing the drums, then that became my love very quickly. I was first diagnosed with retinopathy when I was 16 years old. I was working my first job and I actually hit my head on a pole, and it kind of knocked me a little silly, and I started noticing like little spots in my eyes. So I went to the doctor and found out that I had a very small hole in the retina of my right eye, and it was leaking blood into my eye. At this point they figured out that I had a type of retinopathy that's rather uncommon because I'm not diabetic. After I was diagnosed with the retinopathy, I had about 4 different occasions that I had small retinal tears. Every time I went to see a physician, though, they just told me that it wasn't a real problem at this point in time. You just put an extra pillow under my head and it would clear up within a few days. The first time I had a real indication that my vision was truly at risk was when I was 22 years old. I had a small hole in the retina of my right eye, and it kept bleeding. When I went to see the doctors, they said it was too far damaged to repair. There was actually some kind of infection that was going on in the retina, so they had to do a cryosurgery. It was a real shock to me because he had told me that I had to quit martial arts. I couldn't do any kind of contact sports whatsoever. He made it very clear that if I continued in the kind of kickboxing and cliff diving type of things that I enjoyed doing, I could end up blind. For about the first month after the doctor had given me the diagnosis that I wasn't to play any more contact sports, he told me straight up that I was supposed to quit martial arts. It was very devastating. And I did stay away from the martial arts and everything for about probably a month and a half to 2 months. It was a very depressing time in my life because the martial arts are such a huge part of what I am. My teacher, Sensei Ron, actually came to me and he said, "You can't let this control your life." And I agreed with him. There's just certain things that I could not stop doing, martial arts being the main thing. I did, however, change a lot of the types of fighting styles I used. I used to be much more aggressive before I was diagnosed with the retinopathy. After the diagnosis, I was much more cautious about getting hit in the head, more of a defensive than an offensive type of martial art.